Hey everyone! So today I wanted to talk to you about using book talks in your classroom and how they are a great way to get students to read the books that you have in your classroom library. So a couple of years ago, my school started the 40 book challenge. We did a school PD with the Book Whisperer book by Donna Lynn Miller, and we tried to incorporate a lot of those ideas into our school. And one of those was to have the students read for the 40 book challenge. And I had been growing my classroom library over the years and pretty much spent all of the money that I was allotted from the state on books, and so I feel like I have compiled a really good classroom library. And so one of the ways I wanted to make sure students were aware of the books that I had was to do book talks every day. So how my class runs, we are on a block. So at the beginning of class, students come in, they have a bell ringer. Once they get finished with that, we do our silent sustained reading time, and we read for 20 minutes a day, every day. It's like no non-negotiable, we're always going to read. So what I'll do after the students have read is I'll do a book talk for the day's book, and I have a place on my board where I display the book that we're going to talk about today. I put what genre it is, and I will either do a book trailer, so I'll go on YouTube and I have a whole playlist I've made of all the books that I've done book talks on. But a lot of times you can easily find a book trailer that's made for the book, either that the publisher has put out or that a student has maybe made for a project that they've done. I've seen several from certain libraries around the country that they will do book talks for and put up, and you can use those as well. So what I'll usually do is, I'll say, okay, today's book talk is Piecing Me Together by Renee Watson, and I will play the trailer if I have one. And if I don't have one that has a trailer, I'll just tell the students that there wasn't a book trailer I could find for this one, or maybe there wasn't one that I really liked. So if I've read the book, which I haven't obviously read all the books in my classroom library, and I do try to read as many as I can over the summer, but if I've read it, I'll obviously, put that forth. Like, I read this book, it was, so great, the plot was amazing, or the characters were really cool. And I also like to give them like read-alike suggestions. So if you liked reading this book, you might like this, or if you like this TV show or this movie, you'll probably be really into this one. Sometimes I'll read the back. Like this book actually has a really good blurb on the back. Sometimes they don't really give a whole lot of information, and I like to try to add. So like this is front desk, and the back of it, it's got a really short synopsis. So if I have one that has a really short synopsis, I try to make sure that I kind of, talk it up a little bit more, talk about some of the themes maybe that are in it. Another thing I like to do when I'm doing book talks is if I know a student has read this book, and I know that they're comfortable with kind of just, being kind of, asked about it right there on the spot, I'll say, so-and-so read this and they said they really liked it, and, they may chime in with, oh yeah, it was so cool, or, or whatever. So that's one really great way that I can get students to actually see all the books that I have in my classroom library doing a book talk each day. And I keep a list of all the books I do a book talk on my closet door. I have hanging up a list that I keep track of all the books I do the book talk on, so students can refer back to that. I also have them keep a sheet in their notebook, in the back of their notebook, of books from my library that they want to read, and so some of them are really good about jotting those down when they see one they want. If a student wants one of the books that I'm doing for book talk, I have a book raffle, and I found this idea. Somebody on Instagram had it, and I know several teachers have posted about doing book raffles with new books. I do them with the book talk for the day books. So what I have is just a little box that students just put their name on. I have scrap paper up there if they want the book. At the end of the day, I draw a name, and whoever draws it, I write it up on the board. And when they come in to class the next day, they know that they can go grab the book from yesterday's book talk and go ahead and check it out on my library checkout system. And so students really enjoy doing that. Another thing that I have done, and we did this at the end of last year and it worked out really well, is having students do their book talks. So I gave them the assignment to check out one of my books from my classroom library. That was my only stipulation because I wanted to promote books that I had in the classroom. And so they had a time to sign up for, and I gave them a couple weeks in advance so they'd have time to kind of get into the book. But I did say, you know, you don't have to finish the book to do the book talk. You can kind of talk about where you're at in the book because you're not going to give away spoilers anyway. So they checked out books that looked interesting to them. I did a book tasting so they could kind of really have a chance to pick something out. They signed up for the day that they wanted, and so for about a month and a half, instead of me doing the book talk after silent reading, I had the students do their book talks, and it was great. So one of the things that I used that I felt like really made them confident as far as giving their book talk, I found this free on TPT, and it's from Brainwaves, and I will link it below, but it's got a really good organizer for them to kind of come up with a hook, talk about the main characters, setting, cliffhangers, plot stuff, and then it's got a second sheet for them to kind of put everything together and summarize it. So what I do is I let the kids read from this if they wanted to, or if they just kind of wanted this to kind of organize their thoughts and then just kind of get up and tell us about the book. They didn't necessarily have to read it from this. I just wanted them to feel comfortable, you know, getting up and speaking about something in front of everybody, and it just worked out so well. I had so many students, especially when they hear another student rave about a book, they really want that more than when I rave about a book, because they know that I love books and I read all the time. But especially when they hear one of those students that maybe is not an avid reader but really finds something that they like and they talk it up, they want to be on the list to get that book next. So it was just a really fun thing to do right at the end of last year that I got to try. And what I want to try for this upcoming school year is to video some of the kids doing their book talks, so I can use those for future years in doing book talks. So I would love to hear what you use in your classroom, or how you use book talks in your classroom to get your students reading. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye.